Not so long.
Hey everybody, we are so excited to have you here for the training.
Welcome.
Ready.
We haven't done this in a while. It feels good. I miss
Feels,
doing webinars.
it feels really good. It feels amazing to see that even with doing this last minute crazy webinar that 400, I mean like over almost 500 people was just like popped on and said, yes, I need this, I need this, I need this. And so we're so excited to be here taking care of you all. So can you guys hear us? How is that? We want to make sure that y'all can hear us. And then as soon as we know that, then we will put our videos away so that you can concentrate on what is important. And then we will go from there.
Yeah, I want to make sure everyone can hear both of us. Yes, Juliana can.
Yay!
Monica. Okay.
Perfect. All right, we're gonna get rid of our handy dandy videos.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Maybe. We'll be back for Q&A.
So hello, everybody. Welcome to the 2020 Private Practice Vision Training. We're going to focus on getting that clear 2020 vision for your private practice. When we talk about your private practice vision, it isn't just about what will make you the most money. We want to help you find a vision that gives your clients the best clinical outcomes as well. My name is Miranda Palmer, and I want to welcome you. I'm so thrilled you're here. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist who built a successful private practice during the recession. And I truly, truly love helping helpers and healers build successful practices that change lives.
I love seeing everyone in here. This is Kelly Higdon. I'm also a therapist who built a private practice, sold it, and went virtual. And now I help people like you guys create a business and a life you love. And together, Miranda and I are your private practice experts from Zinni-Me, and we want to welcome you. I love seeing all of your faces and your names. So many of you we know personally, and it's great to have you in here. If you are here, we know that you want a business that is profitable and helpful, transforming the lives of the people who walk through the door, and that allows you to have a happy life. And today's training is all about the cornerstone of our work. Everything we teach rests upon what we are covering today. So it's the first thing we do in our boot camp with a new coaching client, or any time we are making a change in our own business. This training will hold focus on how to improve clinical outcomes while also improving your income.
We have 1 hour together with you today, and in that time, we're going to give you as much support as we can. We're going to talk about all things related to creating a business vision, focusing on great clinical outcomes and a great income. At the end, we'll also show you where to go to get more help if you need it. And how does that sound? Who's here to get clarity on a vision that will create better clinical outcomes and a more solid financial future? Type yes in the chat box if you are. We love seeing all of you here already chatting it up and posting your questions. So if you've never been to one of our webinars, get out a pen and paper for notes and open up your hearts to a new way of thinking and exploring the business side of things. We want to help you develop a beautiful vision to grow your business in the next year. And if you stick around until the end, we'll be answering as many of your private practice questions as we can. This is a highly interactive training, and today we're going to slow down, take stock, and get clear. We're going to share with you one of the best ways to get inspired and energized for this next year, and then tap into a vision that you want to implement. Simple, right? So let's dig in.
It's important to reassess your business plan regularly. We have our boot campers do this every time they repeat our program twice a year. We're evaluating that business plan, and we want you to do that today. We're going to do that alongside you. And besides, honestly, the new year, a new decade, it's a wonderful time to do that. Why? Because we are naturally motivated to take stock as life changes constantly. Sometimes new laws come into play that impact your business, or maybe you have had new self-discoveries over the past year and are seeking to make a shift. You might have also had some new clinical insights or epiphanies that leave you feeling like you need some change to get the best outcomes possible. Heck, Maybe even something big has happened in your life and your business needs to adjust. We all need regular re-inspiration and a time to sit down and get clarity. So as a business owner, you deserve to design a business that really meets your needs, your emotional, physical, your financial needs. The choices you make in your business will either allow your personal and professional goals and resolutions to become reality, or they will make it impossible and give you excuses to keep doing what doesn't work. That's why we want to help you get into the habit of assessing and planning, and you can come back to this training anytime things change or you feel stuck.
We have done several webinars where we had a nice broad selection of topics related to building a business. Today's going to go a little more slowly, and instead of overwhelming you, we want to be more creative and keep things simple. Who is ready to dig down a little deeper? Type in that chat box. A lot of times you come to a training and leave with a long list of what you need to change, a list of to-dos, or maybe even some overwhelm of all that is yet to be done. Today, we're going to start from a different place.
So we're going to start first with a guided imagery exercise. We're actually going to be doing two, but the first is imagining your worst day in your business. And we're not talking about a day where something traumatic or out of the ordinary or horrible happens. We're just meaning one of those typical days where when you go home, you feel done, like over it. We all have those days sometimes, yes? Or maybe you're having one of those days today, or maybe it's even most days. But I want you to just get comfortable. If you're in a place where you can close your eyes and be safe, that's fine. Ground your feet. Just take a breath for a moment. And I want you to imagine this worst day, a day where you want it to be over. How'd you start out your day? Are you rushing? Is there any time for you? What day of the week is it? What led up to this day feeling just less than stellar? What time did you get to your office? How many clients are you seeing? Imagine yourself with your clients doing your work. How do you feel? How do you feel at the end of the day when you have just one more client? What are you noticing clinically with your clients? What happens when you think about doing your notes for the session? When little unexpected things come up, how do you feel? How do you feel when your phone rings, or when someone schedules with you, or when someone cancels an appointment? What about when someone decides not to work with you? How do you feel as you face the tasks of running your business? All the things you need to do aside from therapy. I want you to imagine looking at your calendar and what it feels like to look at that day on the calendar. What do you notice about that day? And as you close the door to your office, how do you feel? When you get home, what are the things that you tell yourself about that day? What are the feelings that come up, and how long do they last? Does work come home with you? Does it linger throughout your evening? How do you feel in your body? How do you sleep that night? I want you to imagine what would happen if you had more of those days in your business. And they continued on, and this became the norm. Open your eyes for a moment. And if you want, take out that piece of paper, or you can type in the chat box 3 feelings that come up for you doing the worst day exercise. Pay attention to what isn't working. What is the stuff that really bogs you down in that day? You want to write this down because it's important as we move forward in today's webinar and as you look into where you need to make changes in your business and in your life. You have to be informed by this stuff. So if you want to type in the chat box, what are some of the feelings that come up as you reflect on this worst day?
It's, we know, like a really powerful exercise, and it can leave you feeling a little bit stunned.
Burned out. Lots of overwhelm, anxiety, frustration, exhaustion. Rushed.
Annoyed. I saw that, feeling interrupted and annoyed, that thing of like, I just can't get to the bottom of what I need to be doing. Oh, feeling unprepared, wanting more stability, defeated, exhausted, hopeless. So many pieces. So take a moment, take that nice deep breath in, kind of release that, and we're going to do a second exercise. We're going to settle in, allow yourself to close your eyes if you're in a safe place to do so, clear that mind, and start to picture your perfect day. Not a vacation day or the day you win the lottery, just a normal, average, doing what you love, but perfect, normal day. Imagine yourself waking up. What time is it? Is the alarm going off, or are you waking up naturally? As you lay in your bed, if you were just to scan down your physical body, how does it feel? Is there pain? Is there strength? Notice the parts of your body that are developing, strengthening, and releasing as you take such great care of yourself daily. What happens as you step your feet onto the floor and start your day? How do you feel? What's the first thing you do? Do you get a cup of coffee, take a shower, eat breakfast, or move into some movement by yourself, or go and move with a group of awesome humans? Allow yourself to move through the day at the pace that works for you. Notice how you work with clients, how you greet them. How do you feel during your session? How do you feel as the session comes to an end? What do you do at the close of each session, between those sessions? How does it feel when you complete your notes for each client and you're writing out their progress? How many clients are you working with? What is the impact you notice with each of your clients? What kind of feedback are you getting from them? What are they telling you? How do they look when they leave the session? Notice the energy that you're left with at the end of the day. Notice when your business shuts down, your evening routine, your dinner routine. Who do you connect with outside of the office in the evening? What do you talk about and laugh about? Do you move in the evening? And when you go to bed, when you go to sleep, when does that happen? And how do you feel the next day when you woke up, when you wake up? Now write down on a piece of paper and notice, how does your body feel in this moment? What is your mind doing? How did your personal life feel? How did you feel as a professional? And what made the biggest impact on you in your perfect day? Now, just think that over, hold that in, and breathe that whole vision in. Now we want you to pick one aspect that you feel comfortable sharing and share it with this fabulous group of individuals. One piece of your perfect day and how it felt in your body, in your spirit, in your mind. Wow, I'm starting my day with tea and dog play. I'm feeling patient, happy, focused. I can breathe between sessions, and then I do my notes. Each client feels better during and after our sessions. I feel I can get the things done. I feel satisfied and relaxed and open. I feel energized and full of purpose. I'm in flow. I'm feeling grounded. I'm rewarded and fulfilled and clear and competent, productive. Going at my own pace helps me feel so focused. My body feels light and energized. I can ease into my day. I feel inspired and I'm inspiring. And I love my job. I feel soul aligned. Soul aligned. SOUL. Right? Oh, these just make me so happy reading them. Are any of you surprised or scared? How do your perfect day and your worst day compare? Who got the priority in each scenario? You or your business?
You want to do this comparison. There's a reason why we do these two contrasting imageries, because you may find parts of yourself in either or both. You want to look at to understand where you want to be and what you want to avoid when you bring these two together. Look at how they're different and where you identify and find yourself already experiencing these, whether it's in the worst day or the perfect day. You might find that, hey, I am rushing a lot. That worst day stuff, there's bits of that in my life now. Or you may find in some of the perfect day, oh, I do know kind of like the ideal amount of clients for me to see, and I am holding to that. So you want to kind of know where you are in the balance between the two. So if you could just take a minute and take note where you find yourself and how these two compare. Where are you in the spectrum of the worst and the perfect day? Because this ultimately is about helping you find what works. How do you really know what is working? It's when you get energy from what you're doing. Look at your past year. What seemed effortless, or at least seemed to come together, versus what seemed like jamming that like round peg into a square hole. When you are working against something, it might be time to consider some changes. And I am the first to say there are things in our business that we need to do that we don't absolutely love, but we are happy to do them when we understand how it gives us a great return that fits our passion, right? And we have time to dig in and learn the skills that are tricky for us. Some of you might be like, I hate technology or whatever that is, but we know that the technology is what helps us do great work with our clients. We're willing to learn those things because there needs to be space in our lives to develop in whatever area we need it. Our business shouldn't suck us dry, making us constantly feel less than, or like we're an imposter, or unsure of our clinical impact, or that we're stuck and can't make change. Too often we meet people in their practices that are doing things because they were told or taught to do it this way, or because they keep hoping that magically things will turn a corner. But at their core, they know that what they're doing isn't working for them and it isn't sustainable for the next few years, or maybe not even the next few months. So we want you to take a look at that perfect day and where you're currently aligned with it and where you are not. So for example, in my perfect day, I have a full day of no clients every week, where there's no emails, no clients. It's a full day to be creative, no providing services to anyone. And when that first came to light for me, I was like, oh no, this can't be right. And then I went in and I wrote in client time because I felt bad about it. But to admit what I needed helped me take shifts and to start saying yes and no to the things based upon that perfect day, and to make those transitions so that I could get closer to what I really desired for my life.
It's really powerful. And as you sit with your reflection, we want to give you a few minutes to list 3 things that you need to stop or you need to let go of in this next year in order to get closer to your perfect day. What do you have in your life currently that isn't serving you? And then we want you to list those 3 things that you need to bring into your life, grab onto in order to get closer to your perfect day. You might find it has something to do with your thinking, your relationships, how you spend your time and money, where you invest in yourself and your business, the type of clients you say no to, the type of clients you say yes to. Just take a moment and write those 3 things down. And again, it's so powerful, even in this moment, not to go, oh, I'll do that later, but right here and right now to do that space. And then we're going to give you a challenge. Looking at those 3 things, what's one thing you can let go of and one thing you can start doing as of tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow. We want you to see what it feels like to say no to things that drain your energy and yes to the things that inspire and empower you. See it now. Don't just put it on a to-do list. Stop putting off to tomorrow what you really need in your soul today. You need change in your life. We all do. So commit to one thing, right? At the same time, reaching out and aligning with our perfect day, it feels so amazing, but it's also kind of scary, isn't it? Is there anyone experiencing some head trash around sitting with your perfect day? This head trash, these negative beliefs come from many myths that we have about owning our own businesses, things that we've been taught that just aren't true. So we want to touch on those myths now so you don't end up stuck in a cycle of inaction or reaction. And the first myth is busyness equals success. So often we equate feeling successful with the stress and strain on our calendars, but this myth gets us stuck doing a ton of stuff, unsure of what's really working, and is perfect setup for burnout. In fact, we might try to do what we see others doing, chasing around ideas, but never fully reflecting on what our business needs in order to be successful. If you follow Pareto's principle, 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. 80% of your results, again, come from 20% of those efforts. You begin to realize you have more time than you need when you start to eliminate the busy and get focused on what matters most. This is something in our bootcamp that we're often discussing. What is necessary? If you really slowed down and looked at all you've done last year, what generated the most referrals? What activities really got things going and what flopped? What would it really take to get better clinical outcomes? Is it really about another certification? Or do you need to look at improving the process that you use to attract the clients who could most benefit from what you already do? And switch up your processes to give them the best outcome possible. Take time to analyze and really be honest with what tasks you're doing and what's essential. If you don't take the time, your busyness is simply an avoidance of understanding how your business works. Success is being clear and intentional in your life and your business, creating a relationship between the two that gives you joy. Doing more is not the answer. Doing what is best for you and your clients is. The second myth is I'm asking for too much, also known as I can't have what I want. This myth has some deep roots in the land of I'm not good enough. It can be uncomfortable to create the life you dream of. Vacations, sick time, higher fee, changing your niche, having a niche, working with the clients that you truly enjoy. But when we deny those desires and dreams, we put limitations on ourselves and on the potential of our business. There are many ways to create a beautiful life. Usually limitation is the side effect of the disease of comparison. And this is one of the most prevalent struggles we see in our boot campers and colleagues, comparing yourself to others who possibly are struggling in the same deeply rooted not enoughness leads you to limit yourself and to subscribe to a narrative that truly isn't your own. When we look at other therapists in our area and ask what they're charging and then charge that rate, we're looking for them to tell us what kind of life to build. That's a massive transfer of power that you hand over when you do that. It just doesn't happen in our fees either. It can happen when you do your perfect day, and guess what? You're doing something other than therapy, which leads to the next myth. This is how it has to be, or I will be judged by peers, by family, by clients, by the board. The list of people who may not approve of your dreams and visions start to stack up, and they become the reason you stay where you are, stuck in the stuff that isn't working for you. Whether it's a fear of losing clients or judgment from your peers, we're often silent about our desires and dreams. We become silent, not giving our vision a voice. But this is why we love our bootcamp community. There's no judgment, no dumb questions. We all want each other to actualize our visions for our lives, and we see the beauty and diversity amongst all of us. There's no one way to build a perfect, clinically impactful private practice, and there's so many different kinds of practices. The single parent who only works with couples during day hours, and they were told they had to work evenings if they saw couples. They were told that seeing couples would be hard and they needed to see more than just couples. The newly licensed therapist who works with the court system on a retainer instead of the traditional one-to-one sessions, who was told they needed to see everyone at first in their practice since they were new. The therapist who does training and speaking and no longer is in sessions, 20 sessions per week. Being surrounded by an amazing community that accepts and pushes you, who isn't intimidated, but instead celebrates your differences, can be the calming solution to the fear of rejection.
So how do we overcome these myths? Well, first, it's honoring your vision. I don't know about you, but I bet in your perfect day, your clients were experiencing transformation. That is worth giving yourself permission to speak the vision into existence. It benefits your clients and you. Write it down, tell someone, do a vision board, put some sort of words or visual around what you want. Sounds simple, huh? This is something you're great at giving your clients probably, but you also might need a little permission to believe that the perfect day is worthy of giving it energy. And this is how you start to make it real. And you might notice a little sadness. We've had boot campers say, why did I wait to do this? I wasted so much time. But accepting what you have created up until now and calling out where you want to go is simply the start of change. It doesn't have to be filled with head trash. It's a compassionate stance of honoring your vision and yourself. And ultimately, it is honoring a vision that is more impactful to your clients and will improve your clinical outcomes. Second way to bust these myths is to understand where your beliefs originated. All these myths come from somewhere. I call this the committee. Sometimes it's a colleague, a family member, or a past friend who sits on our committee in our mind, freely sharing their opinions about what you should and shouldn't do. And sometimes a committee member needs to be let go from the board or silenced. All those people in your head telling you what you can and cannot do don't deserve so much energy. Sometimes a new committee member needs to be brought on, a coach, a colleague, or a friend who is supportive and can hold you to a more accurate and real truth. Surround yourself with encouragement, affirmation, and people who believe in you. It's time to let go of anything that's keeping you from stepping into that vision where you're happy, healthy, and doing amazing work with your clients. Also, we want to take action in spite of fear. Recognize your situation and that you will make your own path. One of our new boot campers had a new baby and a toddler, and part of their perfect day was getting up early for their own quiet time. But right now, that was not feeling like a possibility when you had one who is breastfeeding and the other one who is teething. So to do one thing to step into that perfect day, they found quiet time in a different part of their day, knowing that as their baby got older, they would inch back into a routine that they desired, or they would get more help in the morning so that they could have the time they needed. You will find a way. It's not exact or perfect in the beginning. For example, I can't scuba dive, but that doesn't mean I don't get in the ocean and look at fish snorkeling around. I find where I can start stepping into the things I love. Often we find our clients have fears about when they start focusing on the solution, the fear no longer takes over. They have feared losing clients for making changes in their schedule or dropping an insurance panel. And yet when they trust the process, trust their desires, put a plan in place, it works out. And they're amazed. They find new depths with old and new clients. And they realize that while moving towards their beautiful vision may have felt a little selfish at first, it was really the most giving thing they could have done. So while there are many myths, what is the one you need to overcome? What is the limiting belief that is holding you back from getting one step closer to your perfect day? And what are you going to do about it? You have to be honest with yourself about where you're at so that you can know how to move forward, right? That's just a mirror to our process with our clients. We want you to write down your myth and the one thing that you can do to quiet that myth. Do you need more support? Do you need to take action? Do you need to do some acceptance work about where your life is and the path you need to take? We want you to write that down now for yourself.
I know in a webinar it can feel really uncomfortable when it's just quiet. But we want to make sure you take that moment. We've had you do all this guided imagery stuff, and you might wonder what the perfect day has to do with your income and your outcomes. It has everything to do with it. If you don't understand what works and what doesn't work in your daily business, you will create more of what doesn't work. And guess what? Those things will keep you stuck in a cycle where you feel like you can't do the things you were made to do. And that brings up our slogan that we say in every webinar: we are here to have a life, not a business. Create a business that fits your life, not dictates it. The vision is the foundation of your income. When you know what your life needs, how many clients you can see, how often you're working, then you can set a fee that will sustain that vision. You'll stop taking clients that aren't a good fit because you feel desperate, and you'll hold yourself to a higher clinical standard. If you're in group practice, you'll know how many clinicians you can manage well, pay a great wage, while ensuring you maintain a profit that makes sense for all the time and energy you're putting in. You will extricate yourself from bargaining and start making financial decisions that make sense based on your business plan and the numbers, not based on what others are doing or what you should do. You align how you make your income with your values, your strengths, and your vision. For some of you, that means doing things beyond the couch, as well as speaking books, trainings, and groups. Your vision directly impacts your income as it is the guide for your business plan.
But what does this mean for outcomes? This is something Miranda and I talk a lot about. It really means honoring a schedule that allows you to be the best clinician you can be from the beginning of the week to the end. You get clear on who you work with, which we will go into more detail in other webinars that we have. We have one on niche that we do. But you only do the work that is right for you, and then find the people who need that kind of support. Business owners who do things that they don't love, who don't value themselves, they get burnt out, they get over busy, they try to do more to make up for things that aren't working, and they end up very overwhelmed. They know they aren't making the impact clinically they want to. And it just creates more guilt and shame and more busyness to try to do more to make up for it. From the outside, they can look incredibly successful, but inside it's a different story. And we know those people. You know those people. We've all been that person at some point in our clinical development. You might even realize that this is where you're at right now. If so, that's why we're glad you're here and taking some time to realign with who you truly are meant to be. The further you get from what you are meant to do in your business, the more out of sorts you will get, and the more your business and your body will suffer. We don't want this for you or our field. We want a field that is thriving and a life for each person that is balanced and happy. You doing what is best for you and living in your purpose is the best for your community and the lives you touch. When you take care of you, it has a direct impact on the therapeutic relationship as you eliminate resentments. You hold to your boundaries. You serve at your highest and best. Whether that be you seeing clients a couple days a week only, specializing working with a group that you're passionate about, or doing something other than therapy. It will all be a win-win because you're doing your best for the people who need you most. But it can seem like a far-off fantasy to bring your vision to reality. And we hear that often. You know, your perfect day is one where there isn't a baby who has yet to sleep through the night, or maybe is one where you have a partner that you haven't met yet. The list of reasons why your circumstances don't match to the vision you can go on and on. But you don't have to make that vision happen overnight. And no matter how far that vision seems from your current reality, we want you to commit to just one thing that you're going to stop doing and one thing you're going to start doing differently tomorrow. After tomorrow, you can start looking at getting the other items on your list implemented. But as you get closer to that vision over time, your vision will shift as well. It's why boot campers repeat this exercise every single year at minimum. Sometimes their situation shifts and they discover that it isn't what they really wanted, or other times their vision comes to fruition and then they want to continue to refine and improve it. So commit to one thing, just one thing you can do today that will get you closer to that vision. So what is your commitment? Post that.
Yes, we want to see that in the chat. In the chat. It's always interesting for us because there's like a little bit of a a lag between when we actually get to see you guys start responding. So it's always a funny little space there.
Self-care time. Protecting my writing time. I love that. Accept fewer clients. That's powerful. Notice to my landlord. No more Saturdays. Bravo.
Woo! I bet there's a lot more that will be shared. So you've looked at that perfect day. You have a list of things to work on, and yet those myths can come up and stop us from moving forward. And one of the ways to break through is through claiming your truth, really speaking to what is real, not mythical. So today we're going to do something that many of you have not done before, which is the reverse bucket list. How many of you heard of a bucket list? Most of you. That movie came out several years ago. Traditionally, the bucket list was the thing that you wanted to do before you died. Now we have the list of things people want to do before they turn 40, 50, 30, 60, run a marathon, climb a mountain, go to Italy, stay in a villa, buy a house. You may also have a bucket list for your private practice. Maybe your bucket list has things like have a full practice, bring in 5 figures a month in gross income, bring in 5 figures a month in profit, expand into a group practice, write a best-selling book. All these bucket list items can be really excited to dream about, but they also come with tasks and to-dos. That can be exhausting and energy sucking in the midst of our busy lives. So today we're going to do a reverse bucket list. We're going to dig into the last 12 months and look at all the things you've already done and marked off your list. When is the last time you paused and really took stock of how far you've come? When is the last time you celebrated your accomplishments? Kelly and I are really working to lean into this practice ourselves as we hit new milestones in our business together. Our trainings have reached tens of thousands of therapists. We've had over 1,200 therapists revamp their practices and their lives through Business School Bootcamp for Therapists. But we are always so focused on what we need to improve, how we can do better, what's coming next, that we don't ever celebrate. But that's changing. We're pausing, we're celebrating, and we're so excited to celebrate with you and help you celebrate yourself. So let's look at that piece of paper beside you and start to explore. What have you done since January of this year in your practice? Did you make any updates on your website? Did you file those taxes? Did you write a blog? Did you get clarity on who you don't do good work with? Even if you're still seeing those people, but you got clarity. Did you think about the clients that you had exceptional moments with? Did you attend any trainings this year? Did you read any books that changed those things that you were doing in your personal and professional life? If you're like us, you might even need to scroll through your calendar or through your Trello or your to-do list to even remember all the things that you did. What are the things you accomplished in your personal life? Travel, new hobbies, new relationships, deeper relationships, letting go of relationships that were not good for you. Who are the people that you took care of? Friends, family members, illnesses that you went through. What boundaries did you learn to set? We're going to give you 60 seconds to write down all the things. I'm going to put on the timer because 60 seconds feels so long to me. Is it just me, Kelly?
No, it does feel like
Feels like an eternity. I'm going to do 45 since I've been talking for.
I totally forgot I bought a house this year.
You bought a house, you moved, you sold your old house.
Yes.
And I think did you try to, it almost like in 2 years, you had your house on the market twice.
Yeah.
Or in the same year. Was that all in 1 year?
I don't know, something like that.
It was a lot.
Yeah. It's so funny, like how you forget because you're like, okay, I moved. Now we got to go on to unpacking instead of celebrating. Yeah. No,
so many pieces. Our coaching is always sold out, and we're like, oh, we did that. We're able to reach all those people in like 2 days, and like, oh, wow, all of our clients did all these things. I've been interviewing people for case studies this week. And like the amount of times that it just like leaves me in utter shock, like what our clients do through boot camp and through coaching is just brings me to tears. And it's so freaking exciting. So look over that reverse bucket list. How do you feel? I bet if we took more time, you'd find even more things that you've accomplished. I bet if you asked your best friend, they'd add even more to that bucket. Now, do a little cheer, a little happy dance. Share your emoji of how it feels to realize how much you did accomplish last year. It feels good. We're going to challenge you to keep that reverse bucket list going next year, to track all the things you do next year to make this even easier for you to celebrate and get energized. You know the research, your brain needs to see all the good you're doing and all that you have accomplished to inspire you.
These things on your reverse bucket list serve as affirmation to dispel some of those myths. You have found the evidence to dispel the myths that we were talking about earlier. And so we want you to just take a moment to write down an affirmation based on a myth that you've been struggling with. Something from your reverse bucket list maybe even tells you that this myth isn't true. And we want you to write a truer statement for you from that myth. I'll give you an example. One of the myths is we hear, like, people won't pay me what I need to make a good income. My clients can't afford that. But maybe you look back, you're like, I do have a client or two that pay a full fee. Or when I raised my fee, I didn't lose all of my clients. There was a client or two that stayed with me. And rewriting that myth to be that I am a person who builds transformational relationships with my clients that make an impact for generations to come. My clients value our work together. I can sustain a good income helping others. So what is your affirmation? What myths are you going to dispel with a clear truth? Post that and write it down somewhere and put it where you can see it. Really remind yourself of the truth of who you are, what you are capable of. Take your action items and start implementing the one thing to let go of and the one thing you need to grab onto. But let this affirmation push you into there. I am worthy and deserving. I was born that way. I'll always be that way. I love that, Alec. I can be authentic to myself and be successful. I'm a person, when I raised my fee, I got more clients. Even if I never get an answer to my question, I'm getting blessed by reading what you guys are sharing. This is great. I can do this, and I am free of overwhelm. My fee is significant of honoring the services I provide. Who's ready to start taking real action in the real world now? Right? This is why we do webinars. It's fun for us to interact this way, but you guys are inspiring each other. And there's a lot of ways we could reach out to the world, but we enjoy webinars because we get to see this stuff. That's why we do this. This is us aligning our gifts and talents in service of others.
Yeah. It's exciting. And like reading what you guys are writing is just, it's absolutely inspiring, because I know that you're going to take this out into the world and make a shift and a change. Like, that's the truth. You're going to make a shift and a change. And that's really, really powerful. So, is this the end? We are so excited that all of you guys are here. Thank you, each of you, for coming. We truly appreciate each and every one of you. We're going to stick around to answer some questions, some of your private practice questions. It's normal and natural that as you get clear about your vision and you start to have real specific questions about how to implement those visions, I bet there are times when you wish there was a step-by-step checklist of creating a truly happy and successful private practice. But when you Google checklist for private practice, you realize that build a website that shows up on the first page of Google that compels your ideal clients to call you, and you're able to have amazing experiences and charge your full fee. That's not exactly like one simple task. There are so many tasks within building a private practice that need to be customized to your unique needs, personality, and vision. And that is why we created the Business School Bootcamp for Therapists. It's the most comprehensive program available to help you through every aspect of growing, launching, streamlining, or revamping a happy, impactful, sustainable business. Remember, your private practice changes lives, but it's your business and your livelihood. You can check out bschoolbootcamp.com/about to learn all the details of what's included in bootcamp and read case studies of how lives have been changed by bootcamp.
And today we are extra excited to be having an amazing decade celebration for our boot camp. If you are here, you've likely heard about it, because since 2014, we've helped over 1,200 therapists through this program, and we'd love to help you. Over 1,200 unique therapists at varying stages of their practice in different communities across the globe have asked all of their private practice questions, challenged our materials, and helped us hone them to make sure that they are the most comprehensive and impactful resource you can find anywhere that will meet your needs, whether you need to grow or you're launching from scratch, or you're already successful and you're looking to open up new locations and expand or create a new stream of income. It's the largest online business training system for therapists, and it's the only one with lifetime access. And we have it going till Friday. If you click that little button below that says learn more about Business School Bootcamp, it will take you to this amazing deal. This is a once in a decade offer. The doors close Friday. They won't open again until March. And in March, they'll be back at full price. So you could save $950. So click the button and you have until Friday. And now we're going to answer questions about vision and private practice. I guess I will turn on my camera. And Miranda's going to read them, and then we'll kind of alternate asking them, since I don't have the same controls she does.
Yes, I'm just turning on my video. It was, as I was trying to turn it on and you moved, like my thing was moving around. I was like, hey! So I will be jumping in here. We'll get to as many of these questions as we possibly can. But again, there are some, we only have 10 minutes. I have all these ideas to expand what I offer, like doing parent coaching, writing the ebook, making online courses. but I can't seem to settle on what to do first. I just want to make a plan for 2020 that I can follow.
Yeah, so when you're trying to decide what to do next, first you want to make sure that what you are currently doing is working before you expand. Because if you expand before you fix the original foundation, you will replicate those issues and multiply them. So if your business is doing well and you've got your systems in place and you want to add something else, I always suggest going with leverage. What is something you're already doing that would easily move into one of these things? And out of these things, what fits best into your life? Writing a book is something you can do very much in private and things like that, in quiet time, versus online courses. They require a different kind of skill set. So you want to look at, what am I already doing that could easily shift into one of these things? What fits into my life best, and what do I have time for? And then you look at how to make that profitable.
And sorry, I know some of you guys, I can hear Kelly, but I heard some guys that there was some freezing happening.
You want us to take off the video?
We'll see if it pops up. Oh, no sound either. How about you guys? Go ahead and refresh. Since I can hear Kelly and we're in different places, I know that there's something happening. Go ahead and refresh your screen. Kelly will type that in as well into the chat. So I think that also pulling into this, there's this idea of expansion. A lot of times because people are not making a livable wage from their core service. Make sure that you're making a livable wage from your core service right here and right now. You shouldn't need to have 17 streams of income to have savings and vacation and sick time and to even be contributing at least a little bit to retirement. That's not necessary. There's something wrong with your business if the core of your business doesn't take care of your basic needs, guys. All right, I'm limping along in private practice, but really need to grow and have and show some kind of profit to stay in business. How do I grow without money for advertising and such? We have a list in bootcamp of like 100 ways to market
without
paying a dime. And in fact, we recommend that people do that kind of marketing and get clear and make sure that they find the things that work before they ever consider doing ads. And most of the time, by the time that people get into the flow and realize what their ideal clients want, they find that, oh, I'm already full. I don't want to send any ads. The only time they do ads is if they expand into a group practice and then they want to like kind of push things over the edge. Yeah, they want to accelerate.
So someone, just in terms of category, you're looking at networking, SEO, visibility, online and offline. Those are all things for free, but we've broken that down into like over 100 things. So like to cover it today would be hard, but there is a lot that can be done.
Yeah. I'm thinking about getting off of all insurance and or going online only. I've worked way too hard and make way too little money. Any help would be great.
Right. So we talk a lot about this in bootcamp about transitioning off of insurance. There is a way you can do that. We have like a calculator that plans out like what your fee needs to be. So you want to make sure that when you move into cash pay, that you're moving into the right fee that's sustainable at the lowest caseload size possible so that you're maximizing that transition time. Also, it's going to shift your marketing. You need to have a marketing plan in place already in advance of that. You need to be really clear about your niche, how you're reaching them and marketing to them so you can get the right fit clients for that cash pay practice.
Yes, and go and watch our How to Set Fees webinar in our private practice community if you haven't already, and it'll help you get clear on what that fee needs to be so you know what that means in terms of what insurance plans you need and what things you need to drop. As of this month, I began my 6th year in private practice.
Yay.
I'm holding my own, but I want to grow, specifically change my specialty and attract a more affluent crowd. Do I change location? Do I upgrade my current space? Do I create a separate company for just the new work? Questions are endless and I lose steam.
Okay, so this really kind of comes down to, because the way this is written, I'm not totally sure how to answer it. Because if you have an insurance-based practice, then you're wanting to probably move into a cash pay practice. But honestly, more than affluence and location and all of that, first you want to start with what is the pain and what is the transformation you provide? And are you being really clear on that? And then finding those people that you want to serve in your marketing. So it's really understanding who you want to work with, what that specialty is, where are they at? Do they exist where you're already serving? You may not need to change your location or upgrade space. We do not need to perform for our clients. It is our relationship that is transformational. It is not the art on the walls. You don't need to prove yourself to the client. If you have a specialty you want to work with, you need to have skill set in that specialty. And then you need a message and marketing plan that lines up with that.
Yes. And ultimately, what I think most people want is a steady stream of clients, and they want a business that fills their needs. And sometimes we look at affluent clients as this like fast forward into that place. And actually what you may find is that just because somebody has a lot of money, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're great clients or that they're even willing to invest in themselves. I've had lots of experiences where like a surgeon who was like arguing and trying to like go back and forth with my fee, even though he had no need. And then someone else where they were on unemployment was paying my full fee. So it's a mindset of how somebody values the work. So realize it is about the work. And for those of you who are posting questions, make sure and post them under the ask a question if you want us to possibly get to them. I'm looking to start my own practice. I'm back and forth on if I should get paneled with insurance companies or accept private pay. And there's more to the question, but I'm just going to start with that so we can get to as many questions as possible. Really focus on that how to set fees webinar and get clear on what that fee needs to be and find out what the contracts are reimbursing in your area. Otherwise, you don't know what's happening at the math. So start with the vision of your practice first, and then you find out, does this insurance align with my vision? And if it doesn't, it's an easy answer.
And then can I just add to that real quick, is that if you're wanting to serve people who maybe are underserved, have less access, there are ways you can do this in your practice where you have fee for service, then offer group counseling to subsidize for the lower fee for service, or you can set a fee and then have a slide. There's lots of different ways of like scholarshiping and all sorts of things you can do to reach those people. But before you get on insurance, figure out what income you need to make and if insurance, if at all, could meet that need.
Yeah. I have a residential practice and I'm getting ready to embark in full-time private practice. How can I begin teletherapy and also life guidance and coaching for those out of state? So it's really important to understand that life guidance and coaching, if you're really what you're doing and what you want to do with people is therapy, just calling it coaching will not change the experience. Make sure you understand what coaching is in particular, and work with people who need you. You're also going to be really focusing usually initially with people in your local market. Sometimes we think that if we just expand our market to the entire United States, like there's more than enough clients, but then you're actually like competing to be seen with people across the United States. And so it can actually be easier to do local marketing than you think.
So you need to be clear on your niche.
Yeah. Okay. And I know we have 2 minutes left. It's going to go really quickly. And I want to make sure if you guys have any questions about boot camp as well, make sure and post that in there and we'll answer those.
How do you choose between relationship coaching and couples therapy, or should you do both? Honestly, they're very different things, and the outcomes and the transformational value are different. I think it just kind of comes down to that vision and what aligns with your lifestyle, your desire to serve, and your skill set. So start with one, though, whatever it is, do one, do it well before you add the other.
I'll probably need to hire another clinician within these next few months. Should I just offer more hours to my current clinician or look at adding another staff member? I could potentially need maternity leave for myself next year. Eventually, I'll need more than one employee if I move to a new office. What if my current employee quits unexpectedly and then it's just me, just figuring out what makes the most sense with all the what ifs?
Yeah, so this again kind of depends on, you do a growth plan whenever you have a group practice. You want to look at kind of how many positions, different kind of coverage situations and scenarios and things like this. More people mean more to manage. It could be that you increase the hours for your clinician while you start looking for another clinician. Depends on your growth rate and projections as well. But I think it's not doing it out of fear, but out of a desire of the type of practice you want to create if you want a multi-clinician practice.
Awesome. And then I think we're out of time for questions. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much. This was so much fun, like so much fun to dig in with each of you and hear more about your visions. Know that we believe in all of your visions, and you don't need to feel hopeless and less than. You can build yourself up. If you'd like to be a part of boot camp and lifetime access for only $1,000, click on that, learn more about Business School Bootcamp for Therapists. We are so incredibly excited to work with people over this next year and beyond. We have people that we've been working with them every year since 2014, answering this kind of like in-depth, deep questions and giving them access to materials. In fact, one of somebody that's today just logged into bootcamp for the first time and sent us a message saying, I can't believe how much stuff is in here. I'm telling everyone they need this. And she's someone who's been established and successful in private practice for many years. So,
and every one of these questions, as I scroll through them, would be answered for you in boot camp. And then we would be able to tailor it based upon your situation during our working sessions with you. So we wanted you to experience also what it's like for us. We do run through this and give a lot of feedback. So thank you all for being here. Any change that you make influences our entire field. So thank you for what you do for your clients and what you do contributing to reducing mental health stigma and increasing accessibility for services for our communities. You do important work. We value you. We care about you. And thank you for spending an hour of your time with us. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys.